Bonjour, bonsoir.
Bonjour. It's on here.
Okay.
It's called Study Abroad. And it has registration in the title. It'll be the newest file on there.
Okay, so study abroad.
Do you want to just move along with me? And I'll come from here and we'll stay in sync.
Sure. Oh, because you want to present using that one there. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So it's study abroad registration.
Yeah.
That sounds good. And just once again. So we have one more new student. Good. And close that.
The date's wrong. It should say 17 down in the corner. Obviously, I was editing for 2 years. How many were there? Can y'all see okay?
All right, good. We're good to go. It's already recording, by the way. So people are.
All right, I'm Susan Lazier.
And I'm Muriel Ornelas, French professor.
So we've done this trip in 2015 together, and it was a great success. So
And I have some people online too.
We did this
a couple of people, yeah.
2 years ago, and it was a great success. So we're doing it again, and we hope that all of you will join us. And today we have more details. The contract is being signed with the travel company, so yay. That's the district has approved, and we're ready to move on. So we're going to talk here about registration process and what's covered and what's not covered, etc. And you can ask questions anytime. Just let us know you have a question. We have a past participant who's here to tell you how great it was.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. Oh.
Okay.
All right.
So our goals very quickly, because we've done this before, but I think we have mostly new people here today. It's basically, a lot of this was written from the fashion standpoint, but to see one of the fashion capitals in the world and understand the global nature of fashion, but more important to experience it also as a local as opposed to a tourist, which is what happens when you stay for more than 10 days, 5 days, 2 weeks, and you're living in a more local circumstance. And to study French for those who would like to do the French component. It's a great way to be involved. You won't learn any better than being there. The study time is June. So the course will actually start in June. And we will both be doing online for that part with our students. And then the study abroad, physical abroad part starts on June 30th. That's the date of departure. You'll arrive on Saturday, July 1st, and then return to Paris on the 29th. This is the actual cost. The cost will vary according to how many students we have. So the more students we have, the price goes down. The less students we have, so the worst case scenario, and this is not including airfare. We'll tell you what's all involved in this price, but it is a sliding scale, dependent upon the number of students, and there's a security deposit for the housing that you get back if your room is left in the shape that you got it. And fashion students have a small supplement cost because our things cost more to go out into the community and to pay entrance fees, etc. So there's another $50 for them. The airfare, if you want to book your airfare with the group, this is currently what the price is quoted out of San Diego, which, we can get it for less out of Los Angeles, but our district really wants us going in and out of San Diego, which is okay. And not only does it include getting to and from Paris, but also the transfer from Charles de Gaulle to the residence, which is at the opposite end of Paris. So you'll be shuttled back and forth in some form or manner, and you don't have to worry about getting to the airport on your own. The fuel surcharge, it's broken up this way because fuel surcharge until it's actually physically booked. They're holding seats for us, but until we physically book. It's not committed, but the first part is. And if somebody applies after April 6th, they can't arrange the airfare for it. So that's sort of, there's a good chance that they can't. So you want to talk about the French part while in Paris, and then I'll do the fashion.
So what was the airfare? I'm sorry.
It's about 1743.
So it's $9.45 for the airfare, and it's $6.98 for fees, fuel charges, and taxes.
Usually, your fare is it'll tell you the breakout.
So it's round trip 1,743. 1743, and that's an estimated cost because of fuel changing in price constantly. So once you purchase a ticket, once you sign up, then it's when things become more set.
Right, then it's set.
What agencies is this?
It's through the AIFS, which is the travel company that puts this whole package together. I don't know which airline. Usually we've traveled American Airlines. I don't know if we did Delta once, United once, so it'll be a major airline.
Okay, so back to the courses. So French 102 is the course that's going to be offered in Paris. French 102, as you can imagine, it has a prerequisite, and that's French 101. That's French first semester. So if you are interested in taking this course abroad, you should either already have taken French 101 or register into that course in the next semester, in the spring 2017. So you're ready to go in the summer. The class, French 102 in the summer, will take place online for the first 2 weeks. That means from mid-June all the way up to the end of June. So the last 2 weeks of June, those 2 weeks will be online. So there will be some activities, there will be some videos, there will be some instruction for you to prepare you for the course, and also to prepare you for the trip overall abroad. So those first 2 weeks, you can be anywhere in the world practically, and then still take the course. So you're basically signed up in the course, and you can just participate. You do not have to be on campus to get participation credit for that course. The following 4 weeks, from July 1st to July 29th, will be 4 weeks of instruction in Paris, and that's face-to-face. So the online portion will be done, and we will continue on to a face-to-face part of the course. We do have class from Monday through Thursday. Okay, so that's going to be mainly in the morning. So that's our plan, to have classes from around roughly 9 to 12. So that gives room for the fashion students to take the course after 12. And also Fridays or Saturdays, depending on their appointments. French 102 is the same course as it is taught here in Mesa College. So if you take French 102 here on campus, it's going to be the same thing as if you took it abroad in Paris. So that means you're going to use the same textbook, especially if you're already used to French courses here. Same textbook, same website, same homework, same system. Just going to be in Paris. Just a small detail. So that's in a gist, that's the course of French 102. And it's definitely a course that you should consider taking. It will prepare you to have a better experience abroad in addition to the fashion course. I'll transfer the discussion of the floor to Susan.
Okay, and so we have 2 international field study courses, 156. That's the one, if you've never done an international field study course with us, you should take 156. But we do have some students who have already done an overseas course in fashion with us. And so they want to go again because they had such a good time. So they sign up for Fashion 157, which is more a focused topic. So together, the student and I determine what their special interest is, and we come up with a special agenda for them. They still go on a lot of the appointments, not all the appointments with us, but their assignments are different, so that they would have something more tailored to what it is they want to do with their career. And we will meet typically in the afternoons because we need to leave the mornings free for students taking both French and fashion. And then sometimes I try to stick with Monday through Thursday to give people long weekends to do their own things. But sometimes we have to have a Friday, just because someone can only see us in the morning. But definitely we will make sure that there is one like a long weekend near the end. That's usually when people are more comfortable getting around. If they want to go outside of Paris, usually the company just requires that you have to let them know and let your professors know that you're leaving Paris and you can go to other places. on your own if you want to. So that's this. These are what's included in the print side of things, and we'll make this PDF be available again on the website, so I don't necessarily have to go into detail, but these are fashion museums. The Louvre has a fashion museum. Fragonard is a perfume maker. They have a fashion museum. The Gobelin is a manufacturer of tapestries that have wove for Louis, probably as far back as the Louis the 16th, and we go there. Yves Saint Laurent has a foundation. Occasionally, some of these are closed because they're renovating, and I believe that the Saint Laurent may be in that situation. There's also the Louis Vuitton. Was it Louis Vuitton we went to last year, right? At the end. And then we typically can get to a fashion show, and then we visit small and large businesses. We go to concept stores, and last year or 2 years ago, we went to 2 fashion schools to visit the school and see what their curriculum was in case some of our students want to go there. For both groups, there is a free travel pass that will get you have free travel in and around the greater Paris area within a certain zone. And they have an orientation program for us. We have a bus tour, sightseeing in Paris by private bus. There's a welcome dinner, a farewell dinner. We will walk the fashion district, so that's fun. We walk all the streets where the most fashion happens. Montmartre is fun too, because that's where all the artists have always hubbed around. We have a one-day excursion to Versailles, which is about 30 minutes outside of Paris.
A little bit more,
45 minutes, So Versailles is a town, but it just happens to host a palace where the royalty set up for many years. And then we have a sightseeing tour on the Seine River. I'll let you do accommodation.
So accommodations are going to take place in this place in Paris called Cité Universitaire. And Cité Universitaire is a very large campus. And it's basically a lot of dorm houses, and they're all named with different countries' names. So La Maison du Canada, La Maison du Mexique, La Maison de l'Australie. So they all have international names. It doesn't mean that only students from that country are going to be there. So you're going to actually be roomed in with students from all over the place: Japan, Brazil, and this is the same. These are the same dorms that we used last semester. And the students have a relatively good experience. It's they're all mixed together with other students from around the world. So it is a single en-suite bed situation. So it is 1 student per room, and they should be no more than 30 minutes from the actual school center. In fact, it might be a little bit closer, but we have to look into that a little bit more. There is a breakfast available in the cafeterias for purchase. There is that facilities, but if not, most students opt for the shared kitchen access, which is also located in the dorm buildings. There's basic kitchen appliances to prepare a meal, have breakfast. In fact, some students last summer even baked cakes, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe Consuelo can attest to that.
Yeah.
So there is a kitchen for students to use. The only thing that's not there, or that is not guaranteed, are pots and pans. Oftentimes things get left behind, and you will most likely probably find a few spoons here and there, but that's the only thing they can't guarantee. Some students say that they
take an inexpensive one and leave it when you're done. Or there's a little market right near the dorms, where you can pick up food, and I'm sure that they probably have pots and pans. Flea markets are great places, especially in Paris.
Pretty simple to do. The only thing that's also not included are towels. So just bring a towel and then just leave it in Paris and put in some souvenirs instead of that. There will be linens in the room though, so that you will have in each room. So that's one option. Sometimes students prefer the more culturally immersive option, which is the homestays. And the homestay actually is also an option for you. It's open to everyone. It's basically staying with a French family. And French family, quote unquote, because sometimes in reality it can just be, a couple whose children already left, moved on to college, got married, whatnot. And they really do a good job at placing you with the correct family. So they interview you, they interview the potential family they're going to place you with, and then they normally find good matches for you. These homestays, the nice thing about the homestay is that you have breakfast every morning, so that's something that they're supposed to provide. It's not the same case for the dorms. The dorms, there are no meals included. The only meals that you can have are for purchase at the cafeteria or whatever you prepare in the kitchen. So the homestays, you do have a breakfast every morning, and in addition to that, you also have kitchen access. So you can go and prepare some pasta, some spaghetti, a sandwich for lunch, whatnot. So you do have that access, and obviously you're going to be living integrated into society, integrated into Parisian lifestyle. So you have your little code. You'll go into the Parisian building, and you'll be somewhere tucked away in some neighborhood in Paris, which is also a different experience from living in the dorms. The dorms is more you have the security of being with your friends, with a close network of the group of people that you're traveling with.
Consuelo, do you want to speak to that? You stayed in a homestay.
I stayed in a homestay. It was really nice. It was just one lady and I, and they have a couple with telling you where to go, or where to go, or if you want to go to Italy or Spain, they will help you to get tickets. At least it happened to me, and the apartments are small because everything is small in Paris, but it's really nice, and the people who you live with help you with your French, and it's really good. It was an amazing experience. You really live like a Parisian. It's amazing. There's a point that you just integrate with everybody and say good morning to everybody in the bar, in the train, and it's really nice. The metro, it's really nice. It's a great experience.
Yeah, and also homestays will not cost an additional fee. So last year it was an additional fee required in order to take advantage of this. In this case, we managed to bring that price to no additional fee. So that's also not an option for you. So you can choose if you prefer the dorm stays or you prefer the homestays. That's up to you.
All right, so this is the registration process. Probably within a week, you'll be able to you can start the first part now. So if you know you want to go, there's the link, and I'll be sending this out as well. But you can go on to our site here at Mesa, and there is a place there to actually do your application. It will come to we two professors, and once we approve the application, we send you a link. And we'll wait till it's up because the company has to still build that page for us. But you'll get a link to AIFS's site, and we send you that. And then once you get that, you can begin the registration process with the travel company. So they have a process that will allow you to set up an account and a portal for you to submit payments. There'll be a brief waiting period once you've done the first phase on their site. And then basically they're asking us, do you know the student, et cetera, and we come back and say, yes, we know this student. And then they open it up for payment. So you'll receive notice that you can go in, they'll send you an invoice as a starting point.
The ones that we already did the registration, we're gonna, later on when everything is done, we're gonna get an email from AFI.
Yeah, but
we don't have to do it, or we have to redo it again.
With AIFS, nothing's happened with the AIFI.
Okay, no, but with the one in Mesa.
The ones that we know about that we'll just send you the link.
Okay.
Yeah. Just make sure you read all the information on their site, that you understand it. The deposit is $450. You can make your payment by credit card or by check, and then you can make your own incremental payments. So you basically decide your payment plan between now and May 5th, because May 5th is the date by which everything must be paid in full. They don't have a set plan, but you can make arrangements. You just keep going in and paying as much as you can, between now and May 5th. But by May 5th, it's firm. Refund policies exist, and I think I stuck them on the next page here so that you would have that reference. This is what's in our contract, so you can see anything that happens before April 6th, you'll get all, if you cancel, you would get all fees back, less $150 processing fee. You just have to keep your eye on key dates. So then there's an April 6th date. which may be a little sooner because it depends if the college has to make decisions based on how many students we have enrolled. Because if we only have 3 students enrolled, the college may choose to cancel at a point before people start losing a little bit here and there because of money paid out. So there'll be, we'll keep you posted on all of that and be encouraging, other students to get enrolled by a certain time so the college knows how many students are actually planning on going. But after May 5th, there's no refund and the total program fee is due. And once the program begins, there's no refund unless AIFS suspends the program, or unless you have, there's other reasons to cancel that are bona fide reasons, but, medical, etc. So there is a list, and we just recommend that you take trip insurance because it's like we never know what life is going to throw our way, and it may have nothing to do with you, but a family member or something happens. So here are 2 sites. I checked out Insure My Trip today. They have a page for students, and you can pick which option you want according to the level of insurance you think you want. So you can just read all of that. And then Travel Guard is another company where you can kind of customize it. I've used them. I do an annual policy with them for all my travels, when I'm traveling. But I would just, the nature of the world, you just never know, etc., what's going to happen. And it depends on how conservative you are as well as the college. There will be other paperwork that you need to complete, which will happen probably, I would say, by April. We'll start that the college, once we know, yes, this looks like a strong go, we have enough students to make administration happy, then we'll start worrying about all the other liability releases and student conduct forms, etc., that need to be signed. So we'll have meetings for the students who've registered as time goes by. We're going to have in our program 2 scholarships for fashion students, and you can apply in January, and then by February there'll be a deadline, and then we'll let you know in March which 2 students get a $500 scholarship. And there may be other scholarships available. Certainly we have other scholarships available in general on campus, and those deadlines are the end of February. And then as far as study abroad,
we're still actually looking into it. There is a language department scholarship available too, so you might be able to apply for that as well.
Right. So there are other places you can look. And we have done fundraising before so that we can raise some money to do some extra activities. So these next few pages are just more details about the courses as they read in the catalog. So, you can take your time and read this later when we put this up on the site, what the 2 courses are. And this is the course description for French. Just realize that you still have to pay the Mesa tuition. You still have to go through the registration process when summer semester is open and register for the course. In fashion, they are 2 units, so you register for 2 units. And in language, they're 5 units, so you would register for a 5-unit course. So just realize, that is another cost, but you are getting credit, so that's good. College credit. And then the rest of this is just some pictures. So some of you have not been here, so we'll run through these quickly. These are, I know there's a video on the Study Abroad site that was done by a French student, so you'll get the French flavor there. These are fashion images from our students. This was a trip to, I think we did Milan, Lyon, and Paris on this one in 14 days or 10 days, something like that. But these are just shots of in and around Paris. I just pulled the Paris ones out. Place de Vosges. There's flower shops everywhere. You'll catch an occasional bride, getting married and having their photos taken. Cafes are everywhere. Vegetable shops. Probably one of the more inexpensive dinners. To go buy yourself a prep for dinner, and they have savory ones and they have sweet ones, and again, flowers everywhere. Here we are in the metro. This happens to be in Lyon. And students going out together for dinner in the evenings. Croque monsieur.
Yeah.
More cafes because they're everywhere. And notice in the cafes, a lot of cafes, the seats face the street. Parisians love to people watch. So you will become very Parisian and sit there with your cafe and watch all the people walk by, which is great fun. Some of the famous foods that are French, hotels. This is a little hotel I've stayed in. Again, more things going on. This is in the fashion district during spring break one year. You can tell by what they're wearing. I think they all bought a lipstick when they went to the fashion district, when they went to one of the key designer shops and bought a lipstick because that's all they could afford. But they had their designer lipstick.
So what month was that?
This was in spring break. So this would have been like April, you
It
know.
started getting cooler.
Yeah, in our summer, in June, it's lovely. And July is lovely. We had a heat wave, you know, for a brief. I'm not going to say we couldn't have a heat wave because we might. Yeah, and you do have to understand that Paris is not the United States. Their internet does not work like ours, and their air conditioning doesn't really exist like ours. So you just you be aware.
If it exists.
If it exists. You know, they're just that way, and that's a lot of Europe actually. So this is spring break again, Eiffel Tower. Yeah, I always laughed at how quick the students adapted to being wherever we were. Yeah. All of a sudden they were dressing like the French. They had scarves, you know, and etc. This is at a fashion museum on boat at a train station. Fashion district.
So it was cold then, right?
Not cool.
Okay, everybody's wearing clothes.
Yeah, it was cool. It depended on the day, and it depended, like Rome wasn't, or no, Milan wasn't. This trip was Milan. Milan was pretty good. By the time we got up north to Paris, there were some nice days where you didn't really need a jacket, and other days you did. On the boat tour, we needed a jacket because you're out in the open air, but not in July. Yeah. And these are just more pictures of some of the very specific fashion items. This is the Fashion Museum at the Louvre. We saw Marc Jacob exhibit that time. This fashion schools. This is a student who's from Mesa who decided she's going to study in France. She went and studied French for 2 semesters here, applied, got in, and had to dive in deep because she didn't even know all the sewing terms in French. So, but she did it and she graduated at the top French fashion couture
So
school.
then she stayed there.
And she's still there. So if she's still there in the summer, she comes and speaks to us and kind of lets us know what she's been doing. You know, so this is in the schools. You can see what the students are doing. This is the weaving workshop that we can go to. They don't allow photos when you're back actually looking at the weavers, but this is their museum, so you can see the size and scale. And then there's boutiques. This was from in the summer visit. You can tell we went to meet a young designer who made his outfit just for us because I met him on Thursday. He agreed to see us on Monday, and he made an outfit to wear, and he gave all the students a little piece of fabric to take with them. So they had a great time. He was really lovely, and I'm hoping he'll see us again.
He's a designer.
He does mostly costume and performance art type of
He's
costume.
the guy in the middle.
The guy in the middle, yeah.
So do they also have the Coco Chanel museum?
I don't know of a Coco Chanel museum. I mean, her home people can get into, but you have to be somebody to get into that. Somebody bigger than we are. Yeah, because it's where she actually lived is pretty exclusive. Then we went to visit a milliner who lives just on the outskirts of Paris. We went actually to her home, and she dressed every student in a hat that she decided was to their particular style. There are lots of covered galleries for shopping in Paris. And this was at the time when Jean-Paul Gaultier still had his boutiques. Now he only does couture, so he's closed a lot of the boutiques, but this was the young man who gave us the tour. And here's the students. They're pretty excited to see it. This is another French designer, and there's resale stores. This French designer, everything relates to bows. So when you look at most of her clothes, there's a bow as part of the clothes. That's a perfume shop called Marie Antoinette. This is one of the big retail stores in Paris, Galeries Lafayette. Last time they gave us a tour of the history of the store, and then we went to a fashion show in the store. So it was, and they have a balcony outside, that you can go and you get this amazing view of all of Paris. So they take us up there, and there's some of our students at another trip. This is part of the fashion show. This is when we were there in 2015 with our students. It was the first day that they had good internet reception for a couple days. So the minute they got in and saw they had Wi-Fi, they were all on their phone waiting until the fashion show started. And I was just amused. It's like, really? There's flea markets. So this flea market, there's always this lady who sells the most wonderful vintage hats. And so we all bought a hat. And other flea markets that are antique-based, fashion on the streets. These are some of the famous fashion streets here, so you can get a sense for the clothing. Yeah, this is pretty commonplace. You see a Givenchy truck driving down the street. You know, there's the Dior window. You see outside of Chanel. These must have been models or something, because they're all on their little, or maybe it was the sales associates, but that one lady doesn't quite, you know, it's like, who doesn't belong in this picture? More just on the streets, there's a little island that I do a little treasure hunt. We have to go look. So anyhow, you can get the idea. And then Versailles. So you can see Versailles. Inside, this is the Hall of Mirrors, the gardens in the back. And you can stay as long as you want that day and just take the train back at your choice of time if you want to go all the way to the back of the gardens. But you can get a sense for what the palace looks like inside. There's lots of fountains. This is in spring break here. So this looks a little dismal, but in the summer, it's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This was before all the flowers had bloomed. The Louvre. One of the most famous pieces, and the other one's coming up, the pyramid. There's the Mona Lisa, and they allow you to take photos. And Orsay, which is an old train station turned into a museum. More modern art, and not historic art as the Louvre. It's fun, and that's their cafeteria.
The Louvre has one of the largest Egyptian displays.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can spend days at the Louvre.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the Paris Art Museum is another place I take the fashion students and give them an assignment that they need to find a piece of art that influences them to do something. Either design a window display, design a garment, you know, they have to translate what they see. But this is one great room I just love. And the Opera House, we took a self-guided tour in the Opera House. I was telling the students, if I were you, I'd hang around late at night as the people are coming out, sneak in. You know, at night when you can actually see. Well, you just see it full of people. Yeah. So as they're coming out, just be at the door and just walk into the lobby. We do go in, and that ceiling there you see on the right is very famous because it's by Marc Chagall. So it's one of the more famous. And if you can, some students who wanted to as an option, we bought tickets and we went to the other opera house. We went to a dance performance at the other location, and just some key sites. Yeah, Notre Dame there on the left, Montmartre. This is the Modern Art Museum, which is amazing. They have a great restaurant on the top floor, probably best for lunch because it's expensive. And out-of-town trips, some students went to Lyon. Last time, there's lots of textiles in Lyon. So, and this is Monet's house in outside of Paris, looking out the window. You weren't allowed to take pictures inside, so I took a picture out the window from inside. Yeah, but it's real colorful, and his gardens are beautiful. And we're at the airport, getting ready to come home. They were a little tired. They worked real hard. So this was from one trip, and that's from another trip. So we do our feet picture. Okay. Questions, anyone? Yes.
Is there a prerequisite for fashion?
No. No. We pick anyone who would like to be fashionable with us.
So the classes that you teach over there in fashion,
Most of mine are in the field. You know, we have appointments.
it's in French or English?
English. Yeah. But, you know, there are assignments. So, for example, an assignment last time was, I'm going to take you to a concept store. And now you'll visit this one, but now you need to find a concept store on your own. Go visit it and compare them. So it was fun to read the papers that came in because they were comparing I mean, I hadn't been to a lot of the concept stores the students found. Yeah, and so, you know, there's different assignments that get you out in the field. We went to vintage store, you know, vintage shop, and we did window displays, and yeah. So it will vary every year according to who can see us and who can't. I don't have 100% control, but I have some nice contacts that I made last time that I hope to expand upon for this time. So that's how it goes typically. Other questions? Okay, I think that's it.
All right, very good. So I guess we can answer
Nous sommes finis?
some questions on an individual basis. So
Yeah.
nous sommes finis. And then I guess we can tell our viewers online, merci d'être là.
Je parle un peu français.
Voilà. Okay, so Susan Lazier, fashion professor, Yuri Ornelas, French professor. If you have any questions, feel free to email us, and then we'll also address your questions individually. So, au revoir.
Okay, au revoir.
Allez.